And then you put
Listen,
here.
we're gonna make him Tony Williams as a writer, composer, arranger.
Yes.
Yeah, he developed extensively as a composer and arranger, and mid to the latter part of his career.
Right.
In fact, Tony he was pioneering percussion, that is Western percussion, percussion that we know in this society. The things that the MBOOM, the group that Max, Western percussion, I mean marimbas, vibes, timpani, all of that. He was pioneering that. He in his lifetime group, he had Warren Smith, a percussion, and I worked with him as a percussionist. So I think a lot to be said and attention to him as a composer
Yes.
and arranger.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So now the drum set became 5 pieces, and of course nowadays, I mean, you see guys with 27 tom toms.
Yeah, well, that's all visual, man. That's all visual. The kid, Alphonse Mouzan, had 40 drums on it. Look, you hit one drum at a time.
Yeah.
That's all. This shit's all visual. That's just for visual.
Yeah,
Five.
I know what you're saying, Joe. I know what you're saying because Max told me.
Yeah, you hit one drum at a time, man. That's it's visual, man. It's just visual. That's all it is. All that shit is just visual. Get a whole bunch of shit on the stage. Oh, look at all of that. Look, I'm gonna quote one of Tony Williams. This is one of his quotes. I wish I could be anything but a drummer. Now get to that. That's
that's it. That's it. Oh, boy.
You want to get into,
Tony
was cool. He was great. He was disturbed. He was disturbed. He was a disturbed individual. He was under psychiatric care in his last days.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know you didn't know that. So anyway, that's we can get into the other things. That's a quote of his. I wish I could be anything but a drummer. Now, y'all, you want to get into that? Tony Williams was disturbed. He was disturbed, but we all disturbed, but he was disturbed because the industry, in fact, I say the group Lifetime, that's the beginning of fusion. Fusion is a lot of things, but that Lifetime group was a legitimate beginning point for what they call fusion. But the industry took Johnny McLaughlin and pushed him out and abandoned, didn't push Tony. Okay? All right? That affected him for the remainder of his life. He didn't understand. He didn't understand the social political ramifications.
Yeah, well, that was a cultural thing. That was a culture. I mean, the culture of this country has done that on many levels to.
All right. Listen, if I had your email, I'll send you. I got a paper. It's called Enemy Drums. Enemy Drums. The drums are and still are the enemy in the mindset of the Western culture. Enemy drums. See, they banned the drums here. They banned the drums in North America. That's the difference. When you're examining it, you have to understand acculturation and syncretism. The syncretism, the syncretic cultures like Brazil, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Haiti. The culturated cultures are North America.
Well, the drum instilled fear in Western culture. The drum was the first high-speed communicative device.
Yeah, but they,
thousands of years before the computer.
hold it, man. Wait a minute. They banned the drums in North America, and specifically Congo Square. You know what Congo Square is?
Sure.
Yeah, that's where.
I'm agreeing with you. But the reason they banned the drum because the drum was a communicative device.
Absolutely, it was galvanizing the people. Listen,
Right.
it was galvanizing. Congo Square was an open air arena in New Orleans that exists today as a tourist attraction. It was where they dropped off the slaves. The slaves on the weekends could dance or whatever and sing. But they was not just dancing.
Jouer Bambula.
Who's that? The voodoo? The Haitian people were coming there.
Jouer Bambula. That's what they would say.
Yeah.
In Congo Square. Jouer Bambula.
Listen.
Wow, very gravat.
They were galvanizing the folks, specifically the Haitians.
Sure, by all means. They had to.
The Haitians who were in the midst of their revolution with the French, which the French could not penetrate the beaches. Okay, so with that galvanizing, the powers banned, they closed Congo Square down and banned drumming. Okay, these are facts, and they banned drumming in Noma. That's a profound difference in this culture and in the cultures of the syncretic cultures of Brazil, etc. So all of that, what does that have to do with that? What it has to do with the direct effect. And Tony Williams was disturbed. He didn't understand. He didn't have the full understanding of why the industry didn't push him. They didn't push him. They didn't push him. Greatest drummers shit, and he played. He was not pushed. They pushed Johnny McLaughlin.
Right.
And that affected him for the remainder of his life.
And we were raised to learn by the heartbeat that the drums were the most important thing.
Yes. And it wasn't so much that the Portuguese and the Spanish, who were leading, and some degree French, they didn't necessarily want y'all playing drums either. But you were able to, that's what Candomblé is. Candomblé and Santeria. Right. They were able to disguise and put their own saints. That's how you snuck and got the drums in. Prevalent. Right. To be drummed, because the North America was a straight out banning of the drums. Straight out of Congo Square. And then historians say, well, the African people in North America didn't have drums. That's not true. They did have hand drum, goblet drums that were found in places far away as New York. But the British Protestant, the dominant colonial power, what they did was deliberately ban, you could be shot playing a drum in Congo Square. And they closed, that's why they closed Congo Square down, because you could be shot playing a drum. That has greatly affected the psycho-spirituality of everyone. Yeah, if you after 1820, after in Congo Square, see Congo Square, it was a very important place in New Orleans. They were galvanizing the people, galvanizing the people to get together. So it got so far out of hand, and Vodun is big in New Orleans today. Okay, so what's all this got to do with Tony Williams? It's a direct effect of Tony Williams. Tony Williams is a product of this society, and he was a great drummer. I found he's a great musician.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get to emphasize the fact that he was becoming a great composer and arranger, which he wanted to do.
Yeah.
This thing about being loud and the noise, that he was up, he was on the beat, he was up on top of it. He was on top of the beat. See, he was on pushing, he was on top of the beat all the time. See,
yes, life.
Yeah, it was like that. And so it wasn't, I'll tell you one thing now, I don't, he was a great drummer, but you know, he was a musician. But, you know, I was talking to Miles, and Miles said that he wanted Tony to play like Elvin Jones. I'm quoting, he wanted Tony to play like Elvin Jones. And I'll say, to me, and we're talking about Tony Williams, but Elvin Jones is the epitome of jazz drumming. It's what they call swing. He's the absolute epitome. And that's what Miles said. He wanted Tony to play like Elvin Jones. That's why he was up on top of the beat like that. Formed that Lifetime group, which is, to me, is like the ground base of fusion, what they call fusion. And he was exploring percussion, total percussion. When he had percussion, he had conga drums, and then Warren Smith playing marimbas and stuff. He was very advanced individual. Yeah, but that it didn't begin with Tony. Tony's just in a line. He's in a line, a tradition line that goes back to Baby Dodds on up to Cozy Cole,
Sure.
Chick all up there, Kluk.
Mhm.
Was
Yeah,
Kluk.
well, that's what I said before you came on. I was talking about goes all the way back to Chick Webb.
Yeah.
Chick Webb.
Max Roach, Kluk, Max Roach, he's like the dean of the modern era. Roy Haynes coming after that, then Philly, Art Blakey, and Elvin Jones. Then Tony Williams. Elvin Jones, like I said it before, in my opinion, and it's not an opinion, it's a fact. That's what he's the epitome of jazz drums. Then Tony's following Elvin. And then the rest of us coming after that. And there's a few other drummers in there that should be like Pete LaRocca. Pete LaRocca combined Latin. He combined Latin with jazz. He's the first to combine Latin with jazz swing. That's why he was important. But Tony was following. He's following in a line.